Welcome everybody back to Forza Horizon 5, and today we're taking a look at the 1997 McLaren F1 GT. Now this was a homologation special where only two road legal versions were made and a prototype on top of it, so this is an extremely rare McLaren, probably the rarest of the bunch. And yeah, it's based on the F1 GTR Racer, so it has the same extended rear bodywork for extra downforce, and a similar front end with extra louvers and wider wheel arches to fit the larger wheels. It's also got a modified interior, it's got a racing steering wheel, and it weighs 371 pounds less than the standard F1 at 2,469 pounds. So yeah, quite a radical overhaul of the standard car, to be honest. And yeah, in terms of the rear at least, looks really rather different compared to the standard car. Still got the mad doors though, and the central driving position though, but as you can see, a bit more sparse interior wise, and yeah, got a racing steering wheel on top of that. But yeah, still mostly looks the same on the inside, it's just been stripped back a little bit. But yeah, on the whole, still pretty much the standard car, and it's pretty much the standard in terms of the engine as well. Still got the same 6.1 litre V12 engine from BMW, producing 618 horsepower and 480 pounds-feet of torque. Now, that is the same amount of torque, but for whatever reason it's slightly less than the standard F1 in terms of horsepower. It's 9 horsepower down. Not sure if that's just because, you know, it's 4 years after the standard car came out, or because of racing regulations or something like that, but apparently it's down on power by a little bit, not by a huge amount though, so nothing really to worry about. And yeah, as you can see, it's got all of the stuff going for it as standard, all of the you know, the side cubby holes and stuff for storage, and yeah, all the liquids and stuff can be topped up from the front. But yeah, on the whole, this is more about, you know, downforce, handling, lack of weight, and yeah, ability to take corners at speed. So yeah, to test that out, we're going to go out on the drag strip, see how quick it can go before it hits the speed camera, and then we'll go out onto the track and see what it's like on a circuit. So yeah, let's get out there and see what it can do. Right, so here we are at the drag strip, so let's see how fast it can go in a straight line before we hit the speed camera. So yeah, it still sounds the same as it did originally, and it's still got brutal acceleration like it did originally. Obviously the top speed is not quite the same because it's got more downforce, but yeah, be no doubt that this is still really rather quick. So yeah, 161 there, which is not bad for a 25-year-old car. So yeah, let's get to the track and see what we can do when the road gets twisty, and yeah, I'm going to be more reliant on that downforce. So yeah, I've never been the biggest fan of the standard F1. I can respect it obviously for everything that it did. You know, it took us well past 240 miles an hour. It was, you know, the most powerful car in the world at that time in terms of road cars. It was, yeah, generally introduced the hypercar, because before that obviously we had the F40 and the you know, the 959, which were supercars, no doubt about that, but that really did take us up into the hypercar kind of stratosphere. Obviously the XJ220 came slightly before that, which was also insanely quick, but yeah, that was definitely overshadowed by the F1. But yeah, still, as you can see by the stats there, it's really rather good. Speed, handling, braking is all great. Launch isn't the greatest, but then again it is a more than 600 horsepower older car with only rear wheel drive, and yeah, the acceleration could be a little bit better. But if you compare it in terms of the standard car, as you can see, all it's really down on is the launch. No, sorry, the top speed, which I guess is no surprise when you consider this has all of that downforce. So yeah, this is definitely more of a racer than the standard F1. So let's get to that track. So yeah, like I was saying, the XJ220 is kind of like the prototype hypercar. It wasn't massively faster than the F1, it was only about 18-19 miles an hour quicker, whereas this was the standard F1 was 42 miles an hour faster. So yeah, be no mind that the F1 is the might not be the true originator, but it is the one that cemented the hypercar as a future force for road cars in general. So yeah, In terms of acceleration, this is actually quicker than the F1 actually, at 0 to 60 in 3.184 seconds, 0 to 100 in 6.9 seconds, and it goes with a top speed of 227 miles an hour. So that is 16 miles an hour slower at the top end, which is no surprise given, you know, all of the downforce that this has got going, but it's nearly 0.2 of a second quicker to 60, and it's 0.8 of a second quicker to 100. So yeah, definitely quicker, and that's purely because of how, you know, much reduction in weight this car has had over that standard car. And yeah, in terms of handling, it is also better. Obviously, like I said, with the launch, lower speeds, this is definitely a little bit still tricky like the standard car. It's still got some oversteer and definitely can snap out at you at any time, but once you got the speed going, once you got the downforce and the airflow going over the body, then you've definitely got way better handling, and yeah, not quite as tricky at the limit either. So yeah, definite improvement in terms of handling and, you know, acceleration over the standard car. But obviously it's not going to be an improvement in terms of top speed purely because of the downforce as well, so it's a bit of give and take really. But to be honest, I enjoy to drive this more than the McLaren F1, the standard one, because yeah, it's easier to handle, it's more impressive in terms of the corners. It's got that, this is a little bit quicker in terms of acceleration, and yeah, it's just like a bit easier to really you know, get to grips with. Obviously it does not have the formidable top speed or the legacy of that top speed going for it, but how often are you going to get up to more than 240 miles an hour? Even on this game, you're not really going to get up to that kind of speed. So yeah, overall, really do like this car. Now you're probably wondering why I'm reviewing this car. It's been on multiple Forza Horizon games or multiple Forza games in general before. Well, I have missed some cars here and there that have been reviewable, and this is one of them. So yeah, granted we do have plenty of cars left in the season pass and the car pass even, and obviously the festival playlist and the expansions that are yet to come out, but like I said, there are still some cars that I have missed out on reviewing beforehand, and I'd like to get round to them, especially since there's some iconic cars like this. So yeah, that's why you'll see the odd review which is from of a vehicle that we've seen plenty of times before, but are ones that I think are worthy of reviewing even, you know, multiple games later. So yeah, and this is one of them. So yeah, if you've never tried this before, if you've only ever thought, oh, it's just a, you know, a slightly more modified racer of the standard car, then I do highly recommend trying it out, especially if you don't like the handling of the standard car. But nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.